Hello, it's Rapid Regeneration. I'm David Escamilla. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a medical professional. I'm not making any medical claims or claims about diseases. I am just a guy that just solved my health problems, and I figured out how to stop suffering and how to completely recover and basically have tons of energy and youthfulness and longevity, and I just want to share that with you. It's my mission now is to help you. There were people that helped me virtually with their information, with their products, and their goal was to just help me to get out of this horrible rut. And so now it's my mission, it's my calling to help you. So basically that's the point of this program. And it's important to understand, what I noticed when I was trying to get myself healthy and well was that information was just scattered all over the place. And it took me years and years, and I've been at this for 7.5 years now, since I first started healing myself. But basically, I wanted to make it easier to put it all in one place, because if you can gain all this information, then in a short period of time, you're going to have such an edge, and you're going to know. Now, the knowledge may be overwhelming and may be too much to handle in terms of putting it into action, but you're going to at least have the awareness about really what's the real deal. So that's why we're doing this segment, which is basically what happens to food when you put it in the body, because the whole point of this program is basically how to avoid getting toxic, how to avoid the body, breaking down in that way, and keeping it cleaned out and everything. And so you have to understand foods. And so there's some of these big questions about foods. What are the optimal foods to eat? How should you eat these different foods? Which macronutrients should you eat? Carbs, fats, proteins? And how does the body respond to these different foods? Okay, what happens when certain foods that are beneficial and healthy to the body, what happens when the body eats those? What happens when the body eats foods that are harmful to the body, that are acidic and inflammatory and cause all these other problems? So I don't want to tell you what to think. In other words, eat this and eat that and and do this and do that. I want to help you with how to think, and basically, if you can understand how the body works and the anatomy and the physiology of the body of this machine, then you'll understand what's happening when you put different fuels into it, and you can figure out how to approach that, how to strategize it. That's the whole point of this. So basically, we throw stuff in our esophagus almost like it's a garbage chute, and we're sending it to our body. Hey, okay, just process this. But what's really going on? So basically, there's 4 main processes that happen. And if any of these 4 processes break down, then it's going to lead to health issues. It's going to lead to maybe not feeling good, not having good energy, not digesting well, and a number of other health problems that can happen. But you need all 4 of these basically to be working properly. So, and again, this goes back to my training, my formal training, so I want to give credit for this. I am a regenerative detoxification specialist from the International School of Regenerative Detoxification, so thank you to all the mentorship that I've gotten. But I've also verified this information. It absolutely checks out. Remember that I'm an investigative writer. That's my professional training, and so I know when something's BS. I've been trained to verify information. And so, yes, this is absolutely scientific. So basically the first process is the food gets digested. In other words, it gets broken down. Then the second process is after the food gets broken down, it has to be soaked up into your system. The intestines will soak up that material. Then those nutrients that get absorbed need to be actually used by the body. The body needs to employ them and give them to the cells for energy. And then the fourth process is that there's going to be wastes that are created throughout this process. All these wastes need to be removed from the body. So that's it. I promise you, this is not super intellectual. And even though nature is complex, it's also very simple at the same time. So basically, let's just look at each one of these four, and then you can understand what's happening if one of these stages is not working. So basically, the food gets digested. Now, different foods are going to get digested differently. That's going to be covered in the next segment, so you can understand what's the difference between the body digesting a carb versus a fat versus a protein. They all get digested differently. For example, protein is a more acidic digestive process that goes on in the stomach. Stomach, releases acids, and then the resulting material still needs assistance from the liver in a complex digestive process. For fats, they also get digested in a complex way with assistance from the liver, creating bile, and then basically the pancreas and small intestines hydrolyze that fat, whereas carbs, are basically digested in the small intestine with the pancreas, or again, it depends on whether it's a simple sugar or it's a complex sugar, but all these are getting digested differently. Okay, after the food gets digested, now it has to be soaked up. Basically, the intestines have these little pores in them. These pores absorb the nutrients. Even in your large intestine, which is like the waste holding tank for food waste, the large intestine even still has these pores that will absorb nutrients. So that's super important. You have to actually absorb that nutrition. Then after these elements get absorbed, your body has to use these compounds. And this is the ultimate purpose of food. And so this is going to involve many different organs and systems of the body. So a lot of times food materials need processing from the liver. The circulatory system and the blood need to transport the nutrition throughout the body. The glands of your body, they secrete hormones and steroids to help balance the process of utilizing the energy. The thyroid and the parathyroid assists with the utilization of calcium, and calcium is like the most abundant mineral in your body. To keep your calcium balance properly, the nutrients need to be transported across cell membrane walls. Calcium is an important part of that. And so, yes, this food, it needs to go inside of the cell wall to energize and feed all the trillions of cells in your body. So the food needs to go from the farmer to the store to your house to your plate, but it needs to get inside the cell wall. So all these systems of the body, these other tertiary, it seems like, systems, not that related to digestion, but they're needed to utilize that food. They need to be working properly. And then finally, your body needs to get rid of these wastes. So there's material that's left over, the parts of the food that weren't used for anything, that's going to need to be removed. Also, there's metabolic wastes, basically burning fuel, aka using this food for energy. There are byproducts that are created. And so these are acids, they're wastes, and they can either go into the colon, they can go to the lymphatic system, and basically you need to remove them. You need your lymphatic system to be working properly, not too backed up and congested, free flowing. Same thing with your colon. You need to have a good probiotic microbiome. These are going to help consume those wastes and break them down into less acidic matter, which will then go to the kidneys, to be flushed out. And so this needs to be working properly. Otherwise, you'll get problems. So yeah, that's how the body works, basically, when you put food into it. It's very simple, but again, it's very important to have this level of knowledge of anatomy. And don't just let medical doctors be the only ones who understand human anatomy and physiology. I mean, you should empower yourself with the awareness of what's going on in your body, because you are your body. It's not disconnected. It's all one entity. So yes, basically, just understand, what are the issues with all this? If you're eating foods that are very shocking to the body, offensive to the body, acid forming. So basically, this can result in the digestive process not working efficiently. Also, improper food combining. This can also cause this to happen, which again, there's a segment about this coming up about proper food combining. But it can cause digestion to not work effectively in the first place. You have this problem with cooked beans and cooked grains, is that these are just very, very unnatural foods for humans and difficult to digest. And so if digestion doesn't happen in the first place, then the nutrients won't be absorbed properly. Certainly the energy won't be utilized by the cells properly, and then it's going to be that much more difficult to eliminate. Also, basically, if someone's eating foods that don't digest well or that are very mucus forming, this can cause blockages in the gut. Basically, you can get this stuff that sticks to the bowel walls, and you can get this slime wall. This is what we talk about colon cleansing and intestinal cleansing. Because if this happens, if you're eating acidic foods, the toxic foods causing mucus, and they're getting stuck to the bowel wall, basically then you're going to have a problem with absorption, because you have all these little pores on the intestinal walls. But if there's all this slime and plaque and mucus and, like from your grains and your white flour turns into like a glue, now it's going to block absorption. So not good. And then also that slime wall becomes an open invite to parasites, to harmful organisms. Now you have, a nest going on, and that can make things even worse, because then they can absorb the nutrients from your food rather than you. That's why gut cleansing is so important. Parasite cleansing is so important. Okay, now going back to this, if your body's digesting inappropriate foods or very toxic foods, then it's that much harder to use the resulting energy. Even if you can digest it to some degree, even if you can absorb it to some degree, how are the cells going to utilize this basically dirty fuel? If you're eating toxic food, the resulting energy or utilization of these nutrients is that much more difficult, and it creates a lot more wasteful byproducts. A great example of this is complex sugars, as opposed to simple sugars, which are very easily digested and utilized. Basically, you have complex sugars. This is stuff from like your processed sugars, your dairy, your grains, and basically, the way that they're broken down, it creates a lot of fermentation, creates a lot of carbonic acids, And basically that fuel source is not, it creates more work than you get from the energy out of it. So it's that much more difficult to utilize. You have that much more wastes that are happening that then have to be removed. So that's the last part of the cycle that can break down is, yes, if you're eating all these foods that are causing all these acids, the body can only detox out so much acids in a day. Now, everyone's different, but yeah, if you're just piling on toxic foods, acidic foods over and over and over, then yes, your body can start to not be able to get rid of this waste fast enough, and it can start to back up. Now your body starts to go in an acidic state, cationic. All your molecules start to clump together and start to bind together. And basically, this is what happens when something acidifies. And then your body starts to try to buffer these acids. Your calcium can start to get all thrown off because calcium is the most abundant mineral in your body. Your body will use calcium to buffer acids. So you'll start to lose calcium out of your bones, your teeth, your connective tissue. Not good. You could retain water to buffer the acids. You could have excessive cholesterol creation to be a protective shield against the acids. You could even have the blobs and lumps that form, lipids, blobs that encapsulate acids. So you can have all these bad things that happen because the body cannot eliminate the wastes. And so all these things have unintended consequences. Each part of these of the steps in the chain, can affect another one. For example, if you don't eliminate properly and you have all these acids, now these acids can affect your utilization systems that happen in step 3 for your body to use energy. It can affect your liver, make your liver overworked. It can make your thyroid and parathyroid overworked for the calcium utilization because of the elimination issues and too much acids backing up there. Now you have an issue with your liver, with your thyroid, your parathyroid. Now you're not, because you had a problem with elimination, removing wastes, now you're going to have a problem with using wastes and utilizing the energy from food because your liver's at low function. Your thyroid, parathyroid are at low function. And so you can see how these different processes affect each other, and so, yeah, I mean, all these things are interconnected. And so this is really, really bad, and ultimately, if you get too acidic and everything, of course, this eventually can go inside the cells. Now the cells become toxic, intracellularly. They can start to mutate, become irregular, become damaged, and all this can just lead to a very, very bad place. So that's how it all works. Now, a couple parting thoughts. Number one is basically, if all this has been happening to you and your systems are down, and one of these systems isn't working like it should, and you're not absorbing because your gut's all lined up, or you're not digesting well because your liver function's down, or you're not utilizing well because your systems are down because they're too backed up with acids, because you're not getting rid of wastes well. So if all this is happening and now you're like, okay, I'm going to do total body cleansing, like the beginning segments of rapid regeneration, I'm going to clean the body out, I'm going to take herbal supplements, I'm going to transition, I'm going to stop eating toxins, I'm going to get my environment cleaned up, I'm going to try to transition to more healthy foods, I'm going to eat a lot of fruit, I'm going to start to alkalize my body. So just don't get discouraged in the beginning, because you may not even benefit as much as you should from healthy raw foods and fruits. Even though these are the foods that are going to most alkalize your system and revitalize your system, just understand, if you eat a meal of fresh, ripe fruit. Maybe your pancreas is burned out from all the crazy foods you've been eating, and it's not secreting the right amount of enzymes. Maybe your bowels are all covered with mucus and slime, and so your pores are all covered up, and they don't absorb the nutrients very well. And so that fruit, the amazing nutrients in that fruit, will basically not get absorbed. And then, even if you can absorb it, maybe your liver, your thyroid are underactive. They're at low function. So then your cells that energy is not getting into the cell. It's not being utilized by the cell properly. Then, even if it gets utilized, your lymphatic system could be backed up. Your eliminative systems could be backed up and not detoxifying quickly enough. And so even wastes, even from healthy foods, can continue to back up and stagnate and cause the system to be toxic. So I'm not trying to bum you out. I'm not trying to be negative Nancy. I'm just saying it's going to take some work. You're going to need to roll up your sleeves, but you're going to need to be patient. If you don't experience the amazing power of alkalizing food, don't just blame the food immediately, because it could be that your body can't really appreciate that because the body is not functioning properly. And that's why I so emphasize the importance of total body cleansing. Do a gut cleanse, then a liver cleanse, then a parasite cleanse. Maybe even do some kidney cleansing. Maybe even do some of the advanced extra credit. That way you're getting these systems back online, closer to 100% function. And then you're just gonna get that much more benefit from digesting the amazing raw foods and fruits. How about absorbing that actual energy, putting to use into your cells, getting that energy into the cells after it's absorbed, and then eliminating and getting rid of the wastes that result. So, be patient. Give it some time. Keep working on cleaning out your body, and that's just be grateful, because you could have been causing these problems in your body for years and decades, and now it's gonna clean itself out a lot faster than the problem was created. I mean, it took me 3.5 years to solve my problems. I'd like to think it could be a lot quicker if I knew then what I know now. That's why I'm trying to help you. So just keep in mind, it might take months, it might take years, but it's gonna be so much quicker if you do the right things than it took for the problems to be created. So clean your body out, and your body's gonna thank you for this big time. And by the way, once you get to the point where your body's digesting well, it's absorbing all those amazing nutrients, it's getting that into the cell, it's using those nutrients, and it's getting rid of wastes quickly. This is an amazing feeling. This is like a car that just runs perfectly and all the maintenance is done, and like a sports car, and it's just amazing to drive it. It's like a work of art, and that's an amazing feeling. And that's my goal, is for you to get there, for you to feel energized, young, vibrant, healthy, well. That is my goal, to help you get there. If there's anything I can do to help you, please let me know. Reach out to me, rapidregeneration.com. I am on a mission to help you. It's crazy. And sometimes my time gets out of balance because I'm doing this, but I'm committed. I need you to be committed to yourself, to help yourself. Keep learning this information, how this stuff works, and keep putting this stuff into practice. And every week, just get a little bit closer to your goal. So that's it for now. Stay tuned for the next segment. Bye for now.
For more information, please follow @Rapid Regeneration or visit rapidregeneration.com.